All right, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to another YouTube video. I want to talk about productivity and how to get more done. And there's so much to this topic because, I probably work maybe 4 or 5 hours a day, properly 4 or 5 hours a day, sometimes maybe like 3 hours a day. And yet, I'm able to whip together, businesses, get clients amazing results, drive a ton of revenue for my businesses. And, there's just a couple things that I've gathered along the way. Like I've been doing this 5 or 6 years, full time. I've actually never worked a job. I've only ever done internet-based entrepreneurial, things. Outside of my wedding photography business back in the day, that was the only like physical business that I did, right? Everything else had been digital of some sort. So, I just want to talk about, how I get things done, how I do all of this. And, I have a kid and I have a wife. And I take care of my body. I've put on about, 5 pounds of lean muscle mass in the past year very sustainably, and I'm keeping it on very well. And I enjoy my life too. I wear oversized flannels and I'm cozied up in my office, and it's a very low pressure, fun, easy existence. And I get to spend time with my family, and it's just fun. It's like, I just have fun. So there's a couple principles that are prerequisites to my productivity system. You know what I mean? And I want to kind of talk about those first, and then I'll kind of go into more of the specifics of my productivity system. And I'll just talk about these principles first, because I think that these probably are the leaders of things. Because just this week we're wrapping up a nearly $25,000 week with our brand new business that I put together 2 months ago. And it's pacing for $1 million a year fairly quickly here. And I've been able to put that together, working maybe 3 or 4 hours a day on it, maybe less, maybe 3 hours a day average. The majority of my time is with my wife, my kid, and on my other, training coaches to scale their offers business. So I just want to talk about how to do all this. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to think about is having a ridiculously simple, almost boring personal life, okay? I think a lot of people in the entrepreneurial scene really idolize, traveling a lot, partying all the time, big social circles, all this stuff. And I'll be completely frank with you, the only people who can do that sustainably are the people who they are lifestyle marketers. So they make money when they live a certain way, when they look a certain way. I've never wanted to do that because it just sounds taxing. I don't care about living a certain way. I just want to be that way. I don't, if I look that way, great, but I want to be that way. And so I think that's the first thing. I have my wife, my kid, I have maybe 2 or 3 close friends. I'm very, very close with my family. My mom, my dad, my siblings. My brother's actually taking a closing role within my business. And I just kind of have a very simple life. I have no drama. I have hard conversations quickly with people. I get things over with. I don't allow things to sit in my personal life. My personal life is that of a monk. It's just so simple. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. And probably later 2022 into maybe early 2024, I had some personal life stuff kind of come up, and I started to kind of not take care of that realm, and it really affected the business. It was just a very healthy reminder from God, hey, if you don't take care of your personal life, it's going to show up. So I had some stuff in my marriage that we just had to kind of work through, some expectations about, what we want our life to look like, and getting on the same page with things, and just some spiritual growth challenges, even especially for me. I had some selfishness that I had to really work through, and communication stuff in my marriage. And when you want to have a healthy marriage, as a man, you have to work on yourself as much as you work on your marriage, just like your business, And so I had some stuff that I had to work through, but I did that work, and now I'm on the other side, and, we're healthy and happy and simple. It's just romantic, and we love each other. And do we have disputes? Sure, some things here and there, but we're 99% on the same page. And I just think a lot of entrepreneurs, what they do is they let their personal life almost entropy into disaster. And then they wonder why they can't get anything done, and it's because in the back of your head, there's caloric energy burning from the things that are being left unaddressed in the other areas of your life that you just have to address. These are hard conversations that you need to have, boundaries you need to set. Potentially boundaries are very very trendy word in the relationship space right now. But real boundaries, personal things that you got to work on. You know what I mean? Like areas where you're lying to people. Like you just have to like get this stuff out of your system. Like get clean, declutter your personal life. I mean, that's probably 90% of my secret is that I picked a great spouse. I picked an amazing spouse. I got married young and I picked a great spouse. And, I'm lucky to have a good marriage modeled to me in my family. My mom and dad have a great marriage, so I was able to sort of observe that and see what that would look like. I saw them go through a lot of trial and seasons where there's a lot of change. I saw them navigate it. So very lucky in that way, and I recognize that. But I picked a great spouse, a very simple life, and like, back here I have 4 guitars. I play guitar. I hang out with my wife and my kid. We maybe go out and do stuff. I'll maybe go to a cigar lounge here and there, and I'll go get some coffee every now and again. And besides that, I mean, I just don't do much. We go to our church on Sundays. I've got a small group on Thursdays that I go to through that church. I don't socialize that much. I don't do that much. My wife basically manages my whole personal life. You know what I mean? Like, we have a party coming up. I didn't even know about it, and we have like 25 people coming over. And she does all of that. So, frankly, like, tip number 1, pick an awesome spouse and just really simplify your personal life. I mean, that's a huge deal, and have no drama, have no room for drama. Just get rid of people who are just who are adding toxicity and issues into your life. Like, you only want people in your life, in business and personal. You're the CEO of your life. You got to cultivate this thing like you're the CEO. You know what I mean? And just relentlessly cut unnecessary things. You don't have to say ill about people on your way out. Just stop talking to them. Just go where you're being added to and there's mutual exchange. That's a big one. People have like girlfriends they're with that they shouldn't be with, or they have multiple girls, or they have friends that are just like dramatic and just junk, and they have family issues that they haven't figured out yet. Like, figure that stuff out. Like, that's a huge one. It's really just such a huge one. It's either that you have, as an entrepreneur, you either deal with your personal life head on and make a great personal life, or have no personal life. Because having a cruddy personal life is an energy drain that makes making clean decisions in your business almost impossible. Almost impossible. I wouldn't say impossible. I would say near almost impossible. Okay? So that's the first thing. Okay, so the second thing is I believe in a concept. Well, let me say it like this. Another leading principle to my productivity system is leverage. So I'm always looking for activities that only I can do, that I'm good at in my business, and that really nobody else could do on my behalf. And then I just outsource, delegate, or hand off stuff very quickly to high-quality people who I trust. And I just do what only I can do, And I'm very... If you've worked within one of my companies in the past year and a half or 2 years, like, I'm very quick to just like, just delegate, get stuff off my plate. I would rather it be done at 80% as well as I could do it, but it not take any of my time. A lot of people, they're perfectionists and they want it to be 100% as good as they can do it, but it takes, 10 hours of their time to do it. Like, for example, writing the email sequences for our new businesses. It's like I have a copywriter who I really trust. He's done great work for me in the past, generated well over $1.5 million in revenue for my businesses. And I'm just like, let me just have this guy do it. And I think in the internet space, we kind of undervalue these like long-term relationships with great people. In every other business, doesn't matter the industry, every other business. And I think I have this modeled to me because almost every other small business owner in my local area, I live in Indiana. Okay, so Indiana is very humble people. If you're a business owner, reputation and who you do work with matters. I've done wrong by people before, and it still bites me, but the people that I've done right by, the people that I've worked with that have done well, who have been an asset, I continue to just find new ways to work with good people, So kind of a two-pronged thing here. I continue to find new ways to work with good people in leveraged ways where they benefit as much as I benefit. And I'm always outsourcing stuff, always handing off tasks. Anything I can hand off, I hand it off very quickly. And I don't want to be doing anything that I don't need to be doing. Okay? And does that eat up my margins, my profit margins? Sure. But it makes my business, 10 times more scalable and makes my life 10 times more simple. So people are like, oh, but your margins could be 70%. I'm like, I'm cool if they're 50% if it means I can spend 4 more hours a day with my family. I don't care. Like, you just kind of get to this point where you just don't freaking care. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I don't care. Like, if I lose an extra 30 grand a month because I have amazing people on my team, like, I'd really rather do it that way, you know? So that's another principle. You know, I look for leverage, and I outsource, and I've really gotten to know great people over time, you know, and the people who I've done wrong by, I really do my best to make it up. I really, really do my best. You're just going to make some mistakes as a leader. There's just no way around that. You can have the best of intentions and still make some mistakes as a leader, right? There really is genuinely like no way around that. Okay. But you got to do your best to do right by people, build good relationships with good people, and know what they're good at, and find roles that they're excited about within your business. So next thing, I would say as a leading principle, right, is I don't allow myself very long seasons of relying on hustle. So what that means is, I believe that if you rely on hustle and you rely on just like these like pounded out 10-hour days, then you'll build a business that begins to expect that of you. Ultimately, your business is a series of relationships with tools, software tools, people, clients. It's a series of relationship with your audience if you're an organic marketer, right? And if these people or these tools or these systems come to rely on a person who does 10-hour days of bang, 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 work it like that, then you will build a business where it's like a prison. So what I do is, when I need to lock in and I need to do 10-hour days, I'm incredibly capable of it, and I'm very good at it. And I can shut my office door and lock in and get work done like nobody else. I mean, genuinely, I think I'm the most productive person I know. And that's not like to brag, but I could just knock it out, write down a list of things. Give me 20 things, give me a couple hours, it's done. I don't care how hard it's going to be, because I have this mindset of I'm just going to do whatever it takes to win, But I don't build my business. I don't allow myself to stay there for too long. I do seasons of that to push things forward, because I'm the one who cares the most, more than anybody in my business. Nobody's going to care more than you, because all the profit, all the incentive is on your lap. You got to be willing to do that, not unwilling, but don't stay there. Because I don't want to train my business. Your business is kind of like an animal. It's going to like learn from your behavior. It's going to respond to the rewards that you give it, and it's going to learn how you roll. And if you continually run at like that, all cylinders mode, you're just going to build a business that's just unsustainable and frankly unfulfilling. Not that I just want to go. It's not that I want to go party. It's that I want to have a business where I'm not needed 24/7, because the highest lever that I can pull is creative work, right? Like, this new business that we've launched would not exist had I not intentionally built into my life the margin for creative work. Bill Gates takes a week off every quarter for thinking time. Warren Buffett talks about how the average entrepreneur does not budget enough time for thinking. Just thinking, not doing anything, just thinking. The problem is you're relying on work when the people who are beating you are relying on their own aha moments and their ability to process the information that's in front of them, the data from their funnel, the feedback from their clients, the overall morale and earnings of the team and how they're doing, the state of the industry they're serving, and any new ideas, any new things that should come. So I don't rely on that for too long. I'll do it for a week or two, and then I'll stop, even if it hurts the business a little bit, because it forces me to do things that give me levers. Like, I probably am just coming out of like a 2-week period of kind of doing that, where I'm just like bang, 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 putting stuff together for this new business. And now it's like kind of done. So I'm just kind of letting it play out. I'm going to let it play out until maybe midway through January. We've got 2 sales reps on the team. We're going to have a 3rd shortly. And I'm just slowly, ramping up ads. We're turning $1 into $3 on cash on ads, $1 into $6 or $7 on revenue. And I'm just going to slowly kind of see how that goes, make sure the product's good. We had to issue 1 refund for somebody who was kind of overpromised, and just letting the team learn these things and just letting it hold, and I'm not really required in any major way at this point, And so I hope that makes sense, right? So you kind of have to give it that when it's needed, but not let it rely on you for that. Okay. Because ultimately the most valuable work that you can do once you've developed the skills of, I would argue, product design, funnels and ads, and content creation, like organic and paid marketing. You're familiar with both and how each context works, and you can flip contexts in your head for each. You know how to sell. You're good at sales. You're good at client relationships and making sure people get what they're promised. You have basic understanding of operations, tech stack, making sure contracts are signed, how to set up your Slack channels, stuff like that. Once you have like all of this stuff, maybe some team and leadership, the ability to build an organization. Once you have this stuff, genuinely, like you kind of have to go through a season of learning it, which takes maybe a year or two. And if you are in that season, you probably need a little more grit and hustle, kind of work. But once you're out of it, then you really need to rely on creative work. You need to learn how to put these puzzle pieces into places where it gives you the profit and the scale that you want. And if you're just in the weeds, you can't do that. Working on your business, for me, working on my business is like in the shower. It's like when I have a coffee in front of me and I'm just chilling. It's like when I'm winding down it's a Saturday evening. I don't work really. I do like half Saturdays if I work Saturdays at all. I don't work Sundays pretty much ever. This past Sunday was the first time I'd sent a Slack message to anybody in forever, just because I'm so excited about this new business. I couldn't help myself, but I had to dial it back. And it's just in those moments. So I just keep a notepad with me for those creative breakthroughs, and that's just sort of how I work. I'm like a very creative, sort of expressive person, and I've had to learn how to appreciate data and numbers and spreadsheets and stuff like that in order to achieve the creative pursuits that I have. So, yeah, hope that makes sense. Let's talk about how to structure your days and how to like structure projects and stuff. So what I like to do is, let me see if I can maybe show you this. I'll just visually describe to you what I'm looking at. So I literally just use Apple Notes. I know this sounds like super silly, but I don't really I plan. So here's how I do it. So I have each of my major projects. So KCCA is technically a project. It's a new business, but it's like a project, right? So I have big picture. I have written down big picture, and underneath that is like dots, like things that are big picture. So big picture, 500 grand a month in sales, including split payments. Another dot, I want to do 3x on cash, return on ads, 5 to 6 revenue return on ads, which we're at. And it should hold as we scale. We need to get to 4 sales reps and 4 appointment setters. And then I'd like to have a head of sales running that team, running that department. And then we need to finish up the product and get another bullet. I have weekly feedback forms from students and iterate product quarterly to make sure it continues to stay good. And then it'll be approximately $120,000 a month in ad spend. So it's like, that's like big picture, right? So I have that written there. And then I have the month. So we're just coming out of November now. So I have the month picture. And I'm just like thinking, okay, how do I reverse engineer this big picture? So for November, I'm like 10 new students, which we hit. We're at 15 new students this month. Version 1 of the course done. I'd say we're like 80% there. Students getting clients, we're doing that. I wrote 4x return on ads. We're at a 3x return on ads, but we don't have any email remarketing. So it's like, I'd say we're pretty much there because email is going to add a lot of revenue. And then those are my November goals. And then beneath November, I have to do for November, right? So I have a massive list of to do for November. Okay. So like new video sales letter, set up Vitalytics, hiring funnel, finish the course, make sure we have VSL tracking sheet handled with a virtual assistant, same virtual assistant doing P&L tracking for the offer, test a couple different traffic channels. I have YouTube, shoutouts, TikTok ads, and a couple other channels I want to test, move ads to the Instagram page we have dedicated for the offer, and a bunch of others, just big to-dos, right? And so I'm just crossing off those to-dos. And then what I do is at the end of every day, I'm going to get other to-dos that happen because I'm in context with that day. And I have a physical notepad that I leave on my desk that I just kind of use, and I write at the end of each day what I got to do the next day. And if something doesn't get done, it gets moved over into the next day. And if something stays not done, it must not be important, so I just get rid of it, right? So I'm just kind of following my intuition in regards to what's actually important, right? And so I really plan my months, and I allow days to be chips at months. And because a lot of people, they put like a lot of pressure on a single day. And when you put a lot of pressure on a single day, that's just not healthy. Like, it's just not healthy. You have to really see each day in context with the grander, like, movement of your business. So look at months, look at quarters, look at years, right? So my goal with KCCA, the 500 grand a month in cash, I'd say I'd like to have that by the end of next year. If I achieve it much sooner, I think I'm building a business like that's it's just a little too quick. It's like there's probably some things that I'll sacrifice along the way that I'm not willing to sacrifice. Like, team and the environment we've built with our team. Like, I don't want to build like the wrong team. I want to have a good group of people in here. Client experience, my guess is we'd end up sacrificing that as well. A year is maybe slow, it's maybe fast, I don't know. But with my skill sets and how I build teams and how I work, a year to achieve that is very reasonable. We could probably achieve it sooner if I find the right people and I really get people on the team who my gut's telling me I can really trust them. And we work together from there. So do you see how that works? So I just have like months set up, and then I have to-dos for the month. And then at the end of each day, I just have a notepad on my desk, and I leave it on my desk. Okay, and then I just leave it there, and I don't touch it. And then I have my whiteboard over here, which gives me my even bigger picture goals. So Apple Notes is like my, 1 year plans with like the months. My whiteboard is like my 3 to 5 year plan, right? With like big picture principles, right? So like, for example, I want to have like a $3 million investment portfolio. I think that'd be sick. Because if I can get to a point where, I'm arguably closer to this point than I am maybe when I first wrote it, but I want to get to a point where I could live off of like 6 to 8% returns on my investment portfolio. And, that's, a $3 million investment portfolio that would create that for me. And so that's like the reason why I want to do that is I want to live really well and be able to build businesses from a place of abundance, right? I'm not really that interested in like high risk, volatile investing, so I don't really want to do a lot of like crypto stuff. Maybe I'll dollar cost average Bitcoin, but like that's it, I really want to do like real estate and like just get like some trusted hedge funds and have like some, do stuff like that, So my goal is 6 to 8% annual returns on a $3 million investment portfolio. And I really think that it's doable with the businesses that I currently run. So like that's big picture, right? And then I have like another principle, which is like, for example, like not every day will be perfect. Show up anyway. It's like very healthy perspectives on work. Another example is like what financial security is something that is fun and playful for you that you enjoy. It's something that you're good at, and it's something that makes a ton of money. Like that's financial security. So I just have like principles written on my whiteboard, things that I've gathered from books and stuff. And so the reason why I'm saying this is because you'll notice that like my office is this environment that I can step into and just get a ton of stuff done. And then I can step out of it and go be like Trey the dad or Trey the husband or the friend or the brother, and I can play these different roles. And I've built my life in a way where I can switch contexts without really hurting my ability to like serve the different areas of my life well. You know what I mean? And so this is kind of how I do it. This is how I stay productive. This is how I get everything done. And I just think a lot of people, they get so obsessed with like productivity, like systems, like Notion and, Airtable. And like, they like wear red light glasses and they cold shower and all this stuff. And I'm like, just do the 20% that gets you 80%, which is just like know where you're going, have key projects and things to do within those projects. Be disciplined in your work and show up strong. Don't waste a day. If you've got a day, show up that day. And then the last thing is I intentionally have days throughout the week where I don't have meetings. And I just think a lot of people like don't do this. Like don't have meetings. Meetings, especially redundant meetings. Like, sorry to say, some client meetings can be redundant. It's like there's nothing to talk about, Or like team meetings that are redundant. Like I'm anti-redundant meetings. I'm so anti-redundant meetings that I literally will be on like a meeting with my team and I'll just be like, do we need to be here? And be like, not really. Like, what's there to talk about? Okay, let's just end it. Bye. And we had the hour blocked for it. Now everybody has to figure out what to do. But it's just, I don't want to do redundant, And it's not just up to me if it's redundant. It's obviously redundant if it's not needed. So like, even if you become a one-on-one client of mine, like you get one-on-one Slack access. You can message me anytime. I'll help you get your business minimum to 100 grand a month. Within 6 months, guaranteed, or I'll work with you for free until you're there. That's like my guarantee, right? And like you can message me anytime. And the meetings that we're going to have are going to be so productive because we're only going to have them if we really need them, And we'll just bang it out and we'll get really clear. And that's just how I roll because I value my time so much that I just refuse to do anything that isn't adding value to the business. So I hope that this, all makes sense. And if you are that guy, you want to get to 100 grand a month with your coaching offers, the information is in the description. It's called the Kaizen Mastermind Group. We just had a really good group call this past Friday going into how to structure the messaging behind your offers, modeling what we're doing right with KCCA to create something that's believable, buyer worthy. People actually want to buy it, something that commands rates, something that gets sales easy, it's trustworthy, and people actually can believe it to cold traffic. We're turning $1 into $3 on cold traffic in our second month with a video sales letter funnel, which is extremely scalable. I don't know a lot of people that are doing that with month 2 with no email remarketing on their second version of the video sales letter. I mean, it's my second version, second try, I got it. And it's just because I understand how to write scripts and copyright things in a way that creates desire and is trustworthy and people actually want, without people feeling sold to, and so, like, if you're interested in that, you message me anytime. Great group, great mastermind. We're going to do some in-person stuff moving into early 2025, some spring masterminds here at my house. It's going to be a blast. Really would recommend you check the link in the description, book a call. It'll be me on that call. I do not have a sales rep for this business. It is just me, just teaching people what's working for my other business, essentially, which is just a ton of fun. And I'm giving you guys live updates on how I build it and stuff. So it's a blast, and it's obviously not cheap. It's my one-on-one attention and time, and I really value that. So, but if you're serious about 100 grand a month, check it out. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, you guys. Appreciate your viewership. Let me know what other videos you want in the description, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll be filming an update on how the business is going very soon.